How's it everybody? Welcome back to the Nomasburg region. Sanctum Gamer here, and today we are continuing the expansion of this railway yard that we have been building. So in the last episode we built the yard and the turntable to the top left of the screen. Today we will be extending on that on the other side of those railway lines, and our focus today is a couple of industrial buildings as well as the passenger train storage area, if that is what it's called. But kicking it off, we're putting down a couple of these industrial buildings. I kind of figured with the industry that takes place in this town, it is going to be quite mixed in with how the rest of the town is. So I want to have pockets of industry that are littered across the entire town. But this specific area is primarily industrial, so there is no residential spaces here. There is basically none of that in the immediate vicinity of all these train tracks. So from there I put down a couple of these industrial houses. Warehouses, industrial warehouses with a couple of containers and crates, just to give the impression that things are happening here. There's quite a bit of storage, and you got all these trucks that are sitting here that haul in and out all the cargo that comes to this place. And then at the same time, I wanted to have these rail lines kind of ending in various places, because I wanted to have a lot of storage areas in and around this place. So the idea is that the passenger storage areas were not planned for right from the beginning, and as the town grew, all of these passenger rails that were ordered or that arrived here needed a place to be stored. So the little space that was available in and around the space, it was used to extend the rail yard, and a couple of these rail lines got placed down, and these passenger, what are they called? Coaches. I think they're called coaches. These passenger coaches are stored in the space. But again, there's still all this industrialization that has happened. So these buildings are there or were added. So for example, this one that we're looking at, the idea is that this one is slightly more modern. That's why it's not like a rundown type of warehouse that I'm using, but this one was built specifically to help facilitate this extension that was done to store the passenger cargo trains. So that's my thinking around here. But again, I want the entire area to look like it is run down. So everything is going south. There's a lot of erosion that is happening. There's lots of dirt everywhere. The places where we've got concrete that had been placed, a lot of it is cracking, it's damaged. There isn't a lot of that maintenance taking place. And we're gonna see this theme again carried throughout the entire town, and hopefully we get that sort of beaten town look. The only downside to this type of town that I'm trying to build is that it is an absolute prop killer and a network killer, actually, because I end up placing a lot of these fences, a lot of decals, a lot of props and stuff. So at some point I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to convert a lot of these props and decals into what's this thing, procedural objects, just so that I have enough to continue. But yeah, this is one of those stations. I put down this cargo lift thing. What are they called? These cranes. And the idea is that we've got these two rails that are not really connected to the main line, and when they need to service it or they need to move a coach in and out of service, this crane would be used to basically carry it, put it on the side that it needs to be, and then it's business as usual. And in this space, I can imagine there was probably a whole lot of stuff here. At some point it all got cleared out and all these additional rail tracks were built purposely to store the passenger coaches, and that's the idea behind here. Now I am still toying with the idea of whether I should make this bigger or not. I mean, this rail yard is quite big right now, and I know, well, let me not say I know, it looks oversized for the size of this town, but it's really what I want. I really want that look that this entire town was formed around rail. So the storage that's happening here, all these train coaches, they're not just for this town, but they are just the spot where they are kept. And there might be a town on the, somewhere else in the region that has a massive train network, and these get shipped in and out of that space as well. So that's the thinking around here, is even though it is a storage area, it's not necessarily just for this town, but because this town is all beaten up and it's going kind of down the drain, it doesn't really matter. They can store all of the stuff in this area. So that's about it for this area really. Again, I'm not sure if I'm going to extend it. I might extend and make this rail yard a bit bigger on the other side towards the top of the screen, but I haven't really decided that just yet. We'll see how things go as the town continues to expand. Now, at the end of this, I am basically going to consider this train yard basically complete, and I want to open it up to try and get some kind of a story for this entire area. Right? What is the story behind that old rail yard that we built in the last episode with all those engines sitting there? The whole place is falling apart. It's kind of overgrown with grass and so on. We've got this area that has this massive amount of coaches that are sitting here. So what is the story of this town? Why is this rail yard so big? Who owns it? Why are parts of it run down whilst others are not? I would really love to hear your stories. I know some people left a couple of stories in the last episode. So if you're one of those, I'm going to urge you to get onto the Discord server and drop your stories there. Let me know what your thoughts are on the town, and everybody who drops a story gets opened up to everybody else on the server to vote for it, and the story with the most amount of positive votes basically gets a shout out, and I will essentially name this entire rail yard after, well, I'll give it the name that the person suggested and what their backstory is. So as of now, I'll open up the name suggestions channel on the Discord server. So jump on there, drop your stories, and hopefully in the next episode or two, I will read out the one that has the highest positive votes. Okay. So after this, we're going to start building the town, and I've been waiting for that for quite a while, but I'm trying to mix up when I build residential areas, when I build commercial areas, and when I build, slightly more unique builds. So I'm trying to not just build in one continuous area of the town, because then otherwise we sit for the next 5, 6, 7 episodes just building houses, and that can be quite monotonous. So I'm going to try and be mixing it up. But in that mix-up, we're going to be jumping around all over the place as we try and slowly grow this town. So we'll build on the one half of the rail yard, and probably in the next episode, we might jump to the other side of the rail yard or to a completely different part of the map if I find that I've been doing the same thing for too long. And all the while, I need to try and minimize my asset use, because all those details, it requires a lot of props and a lot of decals. And as much as it looks nice in the final product, it really crawls the game to a halt. That's the only downside to it. But it's the price you pay for the level of detail that I'm trying to achieve, I suppose. And then this road, I wanted it to be an old beaten down road that basically connects the main avenue to the residential area. This train station to the top of the screen there is meant to be a bit more modern. So it was recently built. This road that we just built is the old road. And so because all the trucks have been running on it, they've been using it for the longest of times, this road is a whole lot more beaten down. But that connection still stands. And then when the train station got built, it got connected up to this entire area, offering a different connection between getting in and out of this entire this train station. I don't know. My brain went on holiday for a moment there. So yeah, again, continuing that beaten down look. That's why I am putting all these decals and all these dirt and all of the stuff in this place. And I want to have quite a lot of overgrown foliage, pretty much littered all around the place. And this tall grass asset mixed with I know it as the mountain grass. It's a prop that you place down, but it's like quite huge. That asset mixed with these tall grass assets, I think, are fantastic, and they give that overgrown look. They give it a very nice overgrown look, basically. I decided to leave the space green, put down all these trees just to create the buffer between the train station and the actual train yard storage. And then here we just start building the parking lots that are going to sit across the train station. So people that come this side, they've got a place to park their cars. But again, we're not just going with just what people in their cars, but we're gonna put a slot here as well. Did I say slot? A spot here where buses will stop, because this is essentially the central station of this region, or at least the immediate area of this region. So arriving here on your train, you can jump onto a bus for local transport in between the town, or you can just journey a bit down the road and you can catch the tram and use that to get around. So here where we put in these trains, these bus stations, the buses are going to connect various places within the town as well as outside of the town. So after doing all of this, I reworked the only train line that's currently on the map, which is the train line that came from Charlestown to that random train station that we built back in episode 19, I think, just next to the garbage recycling plant. We built a little train station there. So I extended that train line to come all the way to the central station, now connecting up this town basically to the recycling plant as well as to Charlestown. So now we've got a nice long train running, and then I've disabled external line access to the station in Charlestown. So all international train traffic or external train traffic stops here at the central station, and then people will have to jump off and then get onto the other line that will then take them over to Charlestown. And with that, I get more people coming in and out of here, which is great, because that then feeds in nicely to what we'll be building in the next episode, which you shall see. And I think it got a whole lot more foot traffic in and around this place, which is really what I wanted. And then here next to the station, I thought I would have a restaurant here of sorts that people can sit and have a bite to eat, or when they're waiting for the train, they can just go and chill. So I dumped down this McDonald's, and I think it completed the space fairly well. All right, so that's it. I think this area is pretty much done. Again, with the entire rail yard complete, it would be awesome if you jumped onto the Discord server. The link to the Discord server is in the description below. Leave your stories, your name suggestions in the name suggestions channel, and the top one will definitely get a shout out in an upcoming episode. Thank you all so much for joining me and watching. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you would like to see in future episodes. Don't be shy to share with your friends who you think might enjoy it. And yeah, let's hopefully get the video noticed by others. Okay, thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed it, and I certainly hope to catch you all in the next one. Have a good one. Cheers, everybody.